back to MBE, and today, once again, I know I've done a few of these, but I do want to go over the 13-degree drag complete top end that we offer. So as you can see, here's a set of heads. These are getting ready to go together. So we have the coated intake valves. These are victory valves. Okay, this is for a power adder. It has a convex. We still run the dish valve for the valve train to keep the weight down. And this is 5/16, 5/16. Has a 2-degree hub on it to dissipate the heat. This is a nitrous steel right here. That's what this is for. Okay, as you can see, it's got a lot of valve area in it. 230, inch 600. What makes this head work so well? There's a few reasons why. One of them is that if you look at a normal Dart or Brodix 13-degree head, their 10-degree heads and things like that, they all take about a 5/800 length valve. And you're like, well, what does that mean? Who cares what the length of the valve is? Well, here's where it matters, okay? Where it matters is, okay, we put the valve in, right? Okay, we got our intake valve in. Let's put it in. All right. Well, we still need installed height. So what we've done, ours takes a 6/200 length valve. So this is approximately 400 thousandths taller at the spring pocket. And I'm sure you're thinking, well, what does that matter? Who cares about that? Okay, this is where it matters, because that's part of raising the port, is raising the spring pocket up, not only at the intake flange, which most people think. It's more important to get it here, okay? And I'm going to show you why. So now, this head has cross-sectional area over the short turn that you cannot get out of any of those other heads. Come over on this side, Biggs. So now, over the short turn, this thing has a ton of area. As you can see, we use typical MBE stuff, very low taper rates. That helps them pull fuel. That helps them accelerate on the track. This head makes a lot of power, where an SB2 is going to take a 5/800 to 5/900 length valve. A splayed valve is going to take a 5/800 length valve. This will smoke, I mean absolutely smoke, a splayed valve head. There's no reason to even run splayed valve heads anymore. Got to remember, splayed valve head, 1993. We've moved on from 1993. It's 24 years later. So even though this is a wedge head, but this is a wedge head that everything has been looked at. So now you have cross-sectional area for the larger cubic inch, or the RPM. We offer 3 in this head alone. We have 3 different intake ports, 2 different exhaust ports. So we have many versions of this, but the flow coefficients are excellent, okay? I'll show you here. Here's a flow sheet. So it's 440 CFM. You're not going to get that out of a splayed valve or an SB2. There's not enough cross-section over the short turn. And this still has a 230 intake valve, so for the amount of air that it flows, over 440 is pretty outstanding out of a 230 valve. I think this head always surprises us by how much power it makes and how great it runs. We have been doing this head for 15 years now. It's really stood the test of time here. Of course, we've had updates and things like that. Exhaust side is great, inch 600 valve, 270, and you can see it's nice and flat, 600, 252. You know, it still works, still excellent there. The other part that we did, because we're going to come up to, we added fasteners to the rocker bar. So we added a fastener here, a fastener here, a fastener here, and a fastener here. I do not have rocker bars here. I'd like to show you that, but I do not have any. But what we did was, and if you look at a standard 18-degree, the width of the bar, of a 13, 18, any of those, is very narrow. It's less than an inch usually. Well, this bar goes from here all the way to here. So now it has a lot of mass, so it doesn't rock, and it has the extra fasteners in it. So you can run a lot of RPM. You can run a lot of lift. 1/2-inch push rods fall in. You'll have no problem running 1/2-inch push rods with our rocker system and the way we've designed the ports and everything. It has a lot of water in it, so that's nice for the nitrous guys or the road racing guys, any of that. This has a lot of water in it. Still has thick decks, as you can see. It is a quality casting. This is a casting that Brodex pours for us. So when we get them, they are raw. And then we do all the machining to them. And I mean, we do 90% of the machining. Seat bores, guide bores, spring pockets, all of that is done here. And it has a lot of eye candy. So the problem is we had a great cylinder head, but the manifold technology, is just it's not moving because nobody is making a decent wedge manifold for a Dominator. Period. No one. The ones that they are making, they don't have enough cross-sectional area in them. They're not even close. They're way too short from here to the floor. There's just not enough area in them at all. But as you can see here, this takes care of all of that. The intake manifold weighs 10 pounds. This is a race part. We didn't take a cast manifold and then do a porting and do all the porting and then scan all of this. We designed this all in the CAD, so we didn't have to work within that. No different than what we did in the Big 9 intake manifold. We didn't want any bad habits. We wanted to start from scratch. So you can see it has plenty line of sight. You can see the whole runner on all 8. So that thing will make a lot of steam. And it's been a lot better than our own cast ones that we used to port. But now you have something that fits without having large spacers. The other thing about this MBE 13 degree head though, is as you can see, this is very tall from here to here. The port has been raised up everywhere. It just makes power. It's just something that, like I said, it always surprises us what it makes. But it's a whole system. So the fasteners in the intake manifold and the valley tray are all stainless, so they're not going to rust. They're not black oxided. I mean, we're not putting black oxide in when you're buying something like this. So all stainless fasteners. You got a valley tray that looks like a race part, not something just chopped together. So we've taken this whole thing and just trying to make it the way it should be without large spacers, without valley trays that are afterthoughts. Now you have a cylinder head, you have rocker gear, and then we have one complete on here, and then you have eye candy on top of that. So, I mean, this thing's going to look good in a race car. There is no doubt about it. And just remember, all of you grudge racers, if you do not want the MBE logo, you can see how it fits in there. If you do not want an MBE logo, let us know. We will pull the MBE logos. We understand that sometimes it's harder to get a race when you have the MBE stuff on it. We take that as a compliment. But in the end, we want you to make money, so we can leave the logos off. Don't care about that, just want you to haul ass. So that is the MBE 13 degree head. We always accompany these with PSI valves, or PSI springs, and everything like that. So thank you for joining us. MBE 13 degree complete. Thank you.